Welcome to our 15th season covering Major League Baseball on Fox. It's the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. It is back, and what a good matchup. The New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. And now welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck. That is Tim McCarver, who you probably noticed already has never looked better. 15 years together for the two of us, and a good way for us to start here in the AL East.
Well, you got to love this. I mean, you could make a case that the three best teams in baseball, Joe, are in the American League East. Tampa Bay is certainly better than they were 2 years ago when they were in the World Series, and the Yankees, they're as good as they were last year when they won 103 ball games.
CC Sabathia is the starter today for the Yankees. Wade Davis, a young right-hander, on the mound for Tampa Bay. They represented the AL in 2008, lost to the Phillies in the World Series. What a year it was in this stadium. And of course, last year the Yankees winning it all, representing the AL and their 27th World Championship. It's baseball, Fox, Rays, and Yankees next.
Welcome to the world.
It is Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. It is the Yankees and the Rays, and it is our first weekend of the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, and we're glad to be here and glad that you're with us. There's a look inside the Yankees dugout, and we will give you a peek at their starting lineup, and it's brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Derek Jeter leads it off. Nick Johnson is back in the organization. He's the DH. Mark Teixeira is still looking for his first hit. A-Rod, we highlight with his 999 career hits as a Yankee. Then Robinson Cano, the new number 5 hitter, in place of the departed Hideki Matsui. Then Nick Swisher, Curtis Granderson, Brett Gardner, and Francisco Cervelli does the catching. Posada will catch tomorrow with Burnett on the mound. This game is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the thirst inning. The beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Joe Maddon's team off to a 3-1 start. They won last night 9-3 behind their big left-hander David Price, and we'll give you our 4 keys to the game. Somebody tell the Rays it's time to go onto the field and start the game.
Obviously, the keys are very broad for the Yankees, stopping Upton and Longoria, 2 of the guys in their lineup, 2 of the strongest offensive players. And for Tampa Bay, to keep CC reeling at the Trop. He was 0-2 last year and has not won in St. Petersburg since August 23rd of 2003.
Here they come. I thought they might be protesting the 3-10 start, but they're here and they're on the field, and as I mentioned, they're 3-1 and won last night, popped a couple of home runs, took it to Javier Vasquez, and watched their good young left-hander David Price turn in maybe his most impressive start at the major league level. Today it's Wade Davis, and he is a part of this very young, Tim, but very good rotation here with the Rays.
Probably overstating it a bit. Manager Joe Maddon, manager of the Rays, said that he would like to see 1,000 innings out of his 5 young pitchers this year. That, of course, averages out to 200 innings apiece. Perhaps that's stretching it a bit, but you get the idea. He thinks they are ready to pitch and are unawed by major league competition.
Give you more on Wade Davis and today's sprint pitcher profile.
I just love this quote. The pitching coach of the Tampa Bay Rays, Jim Hickey, saying that he would rather have Wade Davis's future than his past.
What a job he's done.
Oh, he has.
Here with the Rays in really molding this pitching staff, and no fear, and it's, I think, understandable when you have the kind of fastball that Wade Davis has to not have any fear, and he seems to handle things well. Got off to a great start when he came up last year on September the 4th. Rocked in his second start, came right back and impressed his manager, Joe Maddon. He was 2-2, had a complete game shutout, and an ERA of 3.72 at the big league level last year. Here's the Tampa Bay Rays defensive lineup, and it's brought to you by Scott's. How do they stack up? Carl Crawford, the all-star in left. B.J. Upton in center. Gabe Kapler's in right. And that means that Ben Zobrist, who plays all over, is at second. Bartlett, Longoria, Willie Ibar gets the start at first because Payne has struggled against Sabathia. Kelly Shopik makes the start. former Cleveland Indian, and he catches Wade Davis, and in steps Derek Jeter, and off we go on a Saturday afternoon. Jeter is off to a 3-for-9 start. The Yankees opened the season at Fenway Park and took 2 of 3, lost here last night, and the fastball starts the afternoon with strike 1. So again, it's Jeter, then Nick Johnson, then Mark Teixeira. If anybody gets on, Alex Rodriguez. The 0-1 from Davis. A little more heat. 93, a late swing by Jeter, strike 2.
Joe Madden is so fresh in his approach. You can see the left fielder almost into left center field, and that's where most left fielders should play Jeter against a strong throwing right-handed pitcher. But often they play straight away because it's always been done.
That skips in for ball 1.
I think Joe Madden is so interested in trying new things. And with Derek Jeter, he rarely pulls the ball. So why play him straight away in left field?
Jeter set up at a ball and 2 strikes. Yankees have opened this season playing 4 games. They've hit .248 as a team, and there's one to the opposite side, and it's fielded by Ibar, 1 out. And a quiet start to this one as Jeter grounds out. So Davis will deal with Nick Johnson, the number 2 hitter, the DH, and the 2 main departures for this Yankees team in their lineup. Hideki Matsui, who was the World Series MVP, he's now with the Angels. And Johnny Damon is with Detroit. And if you go DH for DH, Nick Johnson is trying to replace a very good one in Matsui. That's a pitch high for ball 1. Johnson is somebody who always has had a knack for getting on base. Unfortunately, he's had a tough time staying healthy year to year. When he's healthy, he's got a great strike zone. He manages it well and has a high on base percentage.
As much as any other hitter in the major leagues, he will not swing at a ball. Very, very selective. And often hurt.
9 times he's been on the disabled list. And he's reached 500 at bats only 1 time in his career, and that was the last quote-unquote full season he played at the big league level. There's a strike 2 on Nick. On deck Teixeira. Wade Davis trying to pick up where David Price left off here last night. And got him on the inside corner, 2 out.
Very good slider in on the hands from Wade Davis. And Johnson's gone.
In fact, Nick Johnson has said if there's ever been a real criticism of my career, it's that people will tell me to swing a little more than I do. Fall in love with your own strike zone, and it takes some of the aggression out of your at-bats.
Yeah, I mean, that's not normally the job description of a designated hitter, a guy who takes a lot.
Here's Teixeira. Count is 2-0, and his 0 for 16 start ties the worst start in his career. Got off to a slow start last year in his first year with the Yankees. He's out in front. And the count's 2-1. That's to begin a year. Last year he wasn't producing much. The average was down. Alex Rodriguez came back into the lineup early part of May, and Teixeira and Rodriguez both just took off. And so did the Yankees. That's outside, ball 3. It's Teixeira now. Rodriguez on deck. If Teixeira can reach, in a 3-1 pitch with a big shift on the infield is popped up. Foul ball. And it will end up out of play. Evan Longoria had to run about as far as he did in the New Era cap commercial he filmed over the offseason. He is so far over playing basically shortstop. With a switch hitting Teixeira batting left-handed.
He's probably thinking, hey, Wade, let me get set, will you? I'm not back yet.
3-2 pitch. And a broken bat flare. That's the end of the inning. Caught by Zobrist in a 1-2-3 start for Wade Davis. And now CC Sabathia will head to work.
Yeah.
CC Sabathia couldn't hold a lead at Fenway Park in the season opener on Sunday night. Here's the Taco Bell starting lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Bartlett, then Crawford, then Zobrist. Longoria cleans up. B.J. Upton, Willie Ibar, Pat Burrell, Kelly Shopik, and Gabe Kapler is in right field, batting ninth. See the great start that Evan Longoria has enjoyed in the month of April. Still a young player, but one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball. He bats fourth. This is Bartlett, and he takes a strike poured in over the outside corner by Sabathia. Bartlett had a very good year last year, sliding into the leadoff spot. Had an on-base percentage when leading off of .398. 93-mile-an-hour fastball, strike two.
It gives you an idea of how flexible the Rays are with their lineup. Bartlett, a guy who hit 8th and 9th last year, hit .386 with runners in scoring position. It's very odd when a guy is that good in that category that can lead off the next year.
That's high, and a ball from Sabathia. Sabathia got off to a slow start in his first season with New York last year, 1-3 beginning, but then was fantastic. Won 19 games, 3 more in the postseason with an ERA under 2. That's foul outside third.
He's always had bad Aprils.
There's his start on Sunday night. Had a lead, couldn't hang on, 5-1 at one point. And eventually that lead was gone. The bullpen for the Yankees on Sunday night did not get off to a good start. And Sabathia ended up with a no decision. That's up and away. 2-2 on Bartlett. Crawford and Zobrist, the next two hitters. Bartlett on 2-2, hits it in the air to left, and easy to his left is Gardner. We're out number 1. Let's take a look at the defense for the Yankees, and it's brought to you by Scott's. Gardner is in left, Granderson, the new Yankee, in center, Switcher in right, and around the infield, it's about as good as it gets. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, Teixeira. Cervelli does the catching today for the lefty, 29-year-old Sabathia. Here's Carl Crawford. One of the best all-around players in the game today is Carl Crawford, and a free agent to be. Takes a pitch inside, ball 1. Crawford last year became the first player in almost 20 years to have a 300 or better average, 15 or more home runs, and 60 stolen bases. That's outside. It's 2-0.
It's very difficult to say where Carl will be in August, but generally speaking, if the Rays stay in it, he'll be with the Rays. If they don't stay in it, he'll probably be traded for some draft choices or younger players.
Here's a 2-0. 3-0 from Sabathia with 1 out, nobody on. Talk about those numbers: 300 average, 15 home runs, 60 stolen bases. He's on a list with players like Joe Morgan and Ricky Henderson, who had MVP years while doing that. 3-0 pitch from Sabathia is right down the middle. Wally Bell is the home plate umpire today, with Laz Diaz at first, Vic Carapazza at second, and James Hoy is over at third. Home plate umpire Wally Bell wearing a microphone for us this afternoon. Here's a 3-1. That's a borderline pitch for a strike, full count.
That's still good policy by Crawford. 3-0, take 2 pitches, not 1. Sabathia got the call.
With 1 out and nobody on, 3-2 pitch is fouled. Ken Rosenthal is with us again. Kenny, I know there's a lot of appreciation for the talent of Crawford on the part of CC Sabathia.
Absolutely, Joe. They are good friends, and CC already is lobbying Crawford to sign with the Yankees. He told me that they joke about it all the time, and I said, wait a second, CC. Cliff Lee is also your friend. He's also a free agent at the end of the year. You're not getting both. And he said, well, whoever thought that I'd sign the same year as Tex and AJ?
CC comes back to strike out Crawford, and that's the second out of the inning. So Sabathia bounces back from a 3-0 count, and whether he respects his abilities or not, he came with a 3-2 fastball and got it by him.
CC got CC.
And Crawford is gone with 2 out, nobody on. Ben Zobrist will be the hitter. Yeah, I mean, if you talk about friendships and recruiting and trying to get Crawford into a Yankee uniform, Cliff Lee, I mean, Sabathia is one of the most likable guys in Major League Baseball. There are a lot of guys I'm sure he'd like to have as teammates. Payroll is by far the biggest in baseball, with the Yankees at over $200 million this season. Next up is Boston at around 150. As Tampa Bay Rays try to compete with those two franchises, their payroll is just over 70. As a strike catches the outside corner, and Zobrist, who was an all-star and who plays all over, and Tim has the ability of playing anywhere defensively and not having it bother his offensive production, is off to a good start swinging the bat, and he's got some pop for a switch hitter. Fooled there, strike 2.
Guy who started 7 positions last year and hit in every spot in the order but 9th.
Play a lot of second base, play a lot of right field. There are others since 1969 who have started 7 or more positions. Zobrist is on the list. And ball 2 is high from Sabathia. Talk about Sabathia and those slow starts, and in talking to Joe Girardi before the game, he said, you know, you just can't accept that that's the way it is. You have to try and change it. Don't just say, well, I'm a guy who starts slow. Do something about it. Turn it around. 2-2 pitch is grounded foul. Take a look at the pitcher profile for Sabathia, and there's the numbers the month of April, which are not good, and the sprint pitcher profile looks like this.
Yeah, when he broke in with the Cleveland Indians back in the early 2000s, he was a thrower. Now he's a pitcher. Inside fastball, outside changes, particularly to right-handed batters.
Here is a 2-2, and fouled out of play off to the right. If you didn't get a chance to digest it, since 08, 11 starts in April, a 2-6 record, and an ERA over 6 for Sabathia. Two out, nobody on. Bartlett flying to left. Crawford struck out in a 2-2 pitch. He is down and in, full count.
You talked about how good a guy Sabathia is, one of the most well-liked guys in the game, and yet he's emotionless on the mound. I had to laugh at Eric Bolin of Newsday in New York the other day. Said he has the emotions of a toll collector on the mound.
3-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Every once in a while, you'll get a toll collector that you get something out of. How are you today? Great. That'll be $1. What's going on in your life? We're through 1, no score. Well, we're through 1 scoreless inning here at Tropicana Field, and as we move to the second, Rodriguez, Cano, and Nick Swisher coming up for the Yankees. They had their record even to 2-2. With a loss here last night. Last year, this Yankee club won 103 games. But they made some changes, as every team does. Success or no success, and there's the reaction, if you can hear it over my babbling, for Alex Rodriguez, which was some boos mixed into some cheers for a club that trains during the spring and has a big presence in Tampa, Florida, the Yankees.
Legends Field across the bay.
Looking for hit number 1,000 as a Yankee, and a fastball starts him. And that speaks to a pitching philosophy for the Tampa Bay Rays, and that is a lot of first pitch fastball strikes, which is what Joe Madden and Jim Hickey want out of their young rotation. That misses, a ball and a strike. Jim Hickey on the left. Pitching coach. 1-1 pitch. Another good fastball and a good spot. Strike two.
One of the more fashionable comments about pitchers now is that he is a strike throwing machine. When you think about that, that's not enough. What it should be changed to he's an early strike throwing machine. When you do that, you stay ahead of the hitters.
1-2 pitch is foul. And it also gives you a chance, and it's obvious and logical, but here in the beginning of the season, gives you a chance to pitch deeper into a ball game. And you've seen that here the opening week for the Tampa Bay Rays staff. More than you've seen it, let's say, even with the Yankees, where you're having high pitch counts, and because it's early in the year, 100, 105 pitches is only taking them through the fifth, maybe the sixth inning. Here's a 1-2. 2-2.
Baseball meetings over the years can really be bad for young pitchers, because in meetings like that, they'll say, watch this guy on the first pitch. This guy's a first ball fastball hitter. And then young pitchers say, well, if that's the case, I can't throw the ball in the strike zone. And then they learn after a while that that's the most important thing. First pitch strike.
For the most part, Wade Davis has done that, but he's lost the advantage he had on Rodriguez. Now it's a full count. Cano on deck. That is a rocket for a base hit, and hit number 1,000 in a Yankee uniform for Rodriguez. And it was not cheap. A 3-2 pitch and just ripped into the hole at short.
This BB finds a hole.
Rodriguez, who's tied with Mark McGwire for 8th in the all-time home run list. As they throw that baseball out of play because it has a dent in it.
Not because it's 1,000 as a Yankee, right?
I guarantee you Rodriguez has no idea that's hit number 1,000 at a Yankee uniform, nor does he care.
Nope.
But that bat boy's got a keepsake of a lifetime. One on, nobody out. Here is Cano, and there's a pitch outside, ball one. You know, you can talk to us this year in the booth. You can do that through the World Wide Web, the information superhighway. Give you the address. It's not really hard to remember. But you can ask us questions or lodge your complaints, or just say things to us that you wouldn't say in person.
We'll answer questions. We will not respond to complaints, however.
Here's the 1-0. Outside, 2-0.
Unless you're in one of those moods on a particular day.
You never know. There you go. MLB Joe at Fox.com. Why could it not be MLB Tim at Fox.com?
Well, for obvious reasons.
Because you don't have a computer or access to the internet.
That's right.
So we'll just give out your home number. 2-0 is the count on Cano, who is 6 for 16 to start the season. And he chased. 2-1. Something the Yankees want to see less of, obviously, with Cano, but be a little bit more selective at the plate. And then Rodriguez has told him now, batting in the number 5 spot, and there's Kevin Long, the Yankees hitting instructor. If you're going to try and drive in runs, attack the ball. Don't just try to put it in play. Hit it with something on it. For a guy that struggled last year with runners in scoring position. 2-1 pitch. And Rodriguez has to dive back in. Last year, Cano somehow drove home 85 runs, hitting only .207 with runners in scoring position. Did hit .320 with 25 home runs. Here's a 2-1. Up and away from Davis, 3-1.
You saw that throw to first base by Davis, and that's one thing the Rays and Joe Madden want to really work on, his approach to holding runners on. When you think about it, a guy like Davis, he's 6'6", weighs 230 pounds. He's dominated every place he's been. He's never had that many guys on at first base. So you'd never really have a chance to work on your move.
Rodriguez has not attempted a stolen base this season. He's going. Swing and a miss. Throw down. Rodriguez is out. Out number one here in the second.
That's always the toughest throw for a catcher, because with 2 strikes on the hitter, you want and you're trained to get the strike first and then the runner. He gets the strike and the runner on the double play. Oh, I beg your pardon. That was not a 2-strike double play. It ran the count to 2 strikes as Rodriguez is thrown out at second base.
And now a 3-2 pitch to Cano. There's a strikeout for out number 2. The strikeout comes 1 pitch later, and it's 2 out with nobody on here in the second. Cano chased another bad ball high.
You could say that 3-1 pitch maybe went after the high fastball because it was out of the strike zone, but the 3-2 pitch, nobody was running, so no excuse.
The bases are empty in front of Nick Swisher. Swisher, who has started 5 for 14, and a guy who has really dropped weight from a year ago. He is a lot more lean here at the start of 2010.
You'll do that boxing. He told Chris Long that he was boxing during the off season. I'll tell you that'll, or Chris Rose, I beg your pardon.
There's a pitch on the outside corner, strike 1.
Boxing will get you lean and mean.
Two out, nobody on, and a foul, strike 2. And Wade Davis has Nick Swisher set up at 0-2. So Davis gave up the leadoff hit to Rodriguez. He was thrown out stealing, a strikeout. And now a ball high. 1-2 on Swisher. And somehow Nick Swisher able to get out of the way of that pitch in and around his knees. 2-2.
Don't spend all winter boxing, you wouldn't be able to get out of the way of the ball.
I would have hit him.
Yeah.
Simply put, would have hit him. Now he strikes out and the inning is over. 3 strikeouts through 2 innings for the right-hander Wade Davis. And the youngest member of this rotation, 24 years old, 2 scoreless against New York as we go to the bottom of the second. Good matchup for you on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Bottom of the second, and Evan Longoria, the cleanup hitter, will dig his way in. In fact, he's in to lead off with B.J. Upton and Willie Ibar to follow. Sabathia misses, ball 1. Evan Longoria hit a 473-foot home run off Kevin Millwood in the home opener. And as far as young players who have come along over the last 10, 15 years, this guy has got to be among the top couple, and he just seems to belong from his first at bat on.
Oh, what a marquee matchup with Evan Longoria and Alex Rodriguez, 2 of the star third basemen in the major leagues.
That's on the inside corner. Longoria spins his way out of there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That might be a strike, but don't think you can pitch him in there. He is lightning fast, lethally quick on pitches inside.
Longoria, who is in year 3 of a 6-year contract. 3rd overall pick in 2006. And he got that deal, the 6-year deal, after playing 6 games in the big leagues. Here's a 1-2 from Sabathia. Still 1-2. Here is the inside pitch for a 473-foot home run.
Yeah, you talked about that home run, a monster home run, the 3rd longest ball ever hit here in the last 13 years, the 13-year history of the Rays, on a high inside fastball.
Another 1-2 pitch from Sabathia's in the dirt. 2-2. Longoria is a guy who came up in 2008, was Rookie of the Year, hit 27 home runs, drove in 85, helped get his team to the World Series. He struggled in the World Series, but hit 6 home runs during that postseason. Big reason why the Rays got past Boston. Going to take a big throw. What a good play by Rodriguez to start the second inning. To his right, got up and fired a fastball over to first.
Longoria won the Gold Glove last year, and Alex Rodriguez making a Gold Glove type play against Longoria to get the first out here in the second inning. Nice.
And so 1 out, nobody on for B.J. Upton. Upton, who got off to a really slow start last season after coming off shoulder surgery. The second week of May was hitting only 160 with no home runs. Picked it up, hit 260 the rest of the way, 11 home runs, but it was a down year. 94-mile-an-hour fastball, strike one. With the bases empty, 1 out, the 0-1 pitch. He is in for a strike, 94. See some of the scores roll by in the Fox box, including a game that we're covering. The Cardinals at Milwaukee, a 4-0 game at Miller Park. Sabathia's 0-2 pitch is high, ball 1.
Joe, you and I will never forget the hydroplaning slide into home plate in Game 5 against the Phillies. Game rain delayed and started in the bottom of the 6th inning of the World Series 2 years ago. Still hard to believe.
It really is, especially when you look at the highlights of it and realize that baseball was being played on that.
Yeah.
Standing water on the infield. It was freezing. The wind was blowing, and Upton came around to score, and that's what tied the game.
After stealing second.
Here is a 2-2 pitch with 1 out, nobody on. Backing out of play. We'll have a highlight for you coming up. Chris Rose will bring that to you. This would be the perfect time to read an email, but I can't get online. It's just not working.
I'll help you between innings.
Okay. With 1 out, nobody on, 2-2 pitch. Reaching for it. Now it takes Jeter to make a good play, and he does. 2 out. Slow roller, good speed with Upton. We'll give you a DirecTV game break and check in with Chris Rose.
All right, Joe, Yovani Gallardo with a new $30 million deal, but it's Yadier Molina coming up money. A grand slam earlier in the week. Here a 3-run shot. The Cards lead the Brewers 4-0 in the third. The only way to watch every baseball game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. Joe, I can check your mail and also pick up your dry cleaning if you need it.
All right. You're not doing much anymore.
Oh, come on now.
I just can't get online. If you can do the questions. We'll try to fix that as we play here in the second inning at Tropicana Field. 2 out, nobody on, and Sabathia brings it. It's Ibar who homered last night. Sounded like he broke his bat. He checks it, but passes the inspection. Strike one. Ibar, that's his only hit. The 2-run shot last night as the Tampa Bay Rays took it to Javier Vasquez, who's back in a Yankee uniform. That one got away. 1 ball, 1 strike. And gets a smile from CeCe. Ibar 2. Base is empty with 2 out and a 1-1 pitch. Plunker left side. Rodriguez has time and flips for the out. 2 scoreless in the books. Tropicana Field will return after this from your local Fox station. We welcome you back to Major League Baseball on Fox, presented by Lowe's. And the batter is Curtis Granderson, who steps in and takes a strike over the outside corner from Wade Davis, who's been impressive through 2 innings, as has Sabathia. Granderson, then Gardner, then Cervelli. The next is hit to the right side. Tough play. That's Zobrist. And Ibar can't get back to the bag.
That's a mental lapse on Ibar's part. Once you go after the ball, you have to scurry back to the bag in hopes that the second baseman will bail you out and be behind you. Ibar goes after it, then he stops. And he stops again, short of the bag, and Granderson has an infield hit, I would think.
Well, typically it's Pena over at first base, a guy who won a Gold Glove over there 2 seasons ago, and Ibar is in there more for his bat.
That's true.
Against Sabathia as opposed to Pena, the left-handed hitter. And it is a base hit. It's the second of the afternoon for the Yankees. Another leadoff hit, as Rodriguez had in the second inning. And Granderson, who has stolen 1 base, dives back in. I got an email from John Williams. Talked about Granderson batting 9th in a game against Boston, and he's done well and deserves to move up in the lineup, and talked about guys moving around in the lineup. Does anybody deserve to be pushed down? Is it too early? I think the answer to that is yes. It is too early for that, and Granderson hit down in the 9th spot against left-handed pitching, against a left-handed starter when Lester was on the mound for the Boston Red Sox. He's a little higher in the lineup against the right-handed starter Wade Davis. Granderson struggled and has struggled in his career against left-handed pitching. It's just 183 against lefties last season. Popped 30 home runs with the Tigers, and he's got 2 with the Yankees in his first at bat, and then the game winner in the 10th inning on Wednesday night at Fenway. And there are the numbers last season for Granderson against lefties and righties, and the big disparity. A long look by Davis, and Gardner takes a ball in the dirt, 2-1. So there you go. Now we're off and running on our email exchange with the general population. I will filter these to the best of my ability.
Good.
Gardner now, Cervelli on deck, and then back to the top of the order, Jeter. The opposite way, the shortstop Bartlett to the second baseman Zobrist to get the force out, only play. And the Rays get the lead runner, 1 on 1 out for the number 9-man Cervelli. Get an email here from Joe West, who says, how do you do all those Yankees Red Sox games? Don't those take forever? No, he didn't send an email in.
Pathetic and embarrassing.
How about that one? Joe West, who is
strong.
A longtime Major League umpire, is quoted as saying that the Yankee Red Sox games, which do take on average longer than the other games you would see during the course of the season, are, quote, pathetic and embarrassing, which has drawn some reaction. It's drawn reaction from every columnist across the country that covers baseball, but from some of the participants in that series. Pedroia has been quoted about it. Mariano Rivera. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Ken, did that quote surprise you?
Yes, it did. And it was interesting yesterday, Joe. Derek Jeter raised a very valid point. He said, at what point exactly are we not pathetic and embarrassing? Would that be 3 hours 12 minutes, 3 hours 13? But the point is, pace of game does remain an issue.
It's something that Major League Baseball has tried to certainly work toward, getting these games to happen quicker and not take as long Certainly television is a piece of the puzzle with the longer breaks when the network games
like ours
come calling, or ESPN on a Sunday night. That's definitely a part of it, and it gets the overall time up. There is no denying that. I don't know what these players that are involved in the games are supposed to do about it. There's a strike over the inside corner.
It's part of the fabric of who they are. Derek Jeter's been doing that since the minor leagues, holding the hand up and getting back into the box. I can understand menial changes in the game, but I think it's that drive, that type A behavior. I mean, the game of baseball is played from a pastoral standpoint, from a languishing pace.
There's a good pitch from Davis for strike 2 on Cervelli.
People like to talk at a game, carry on conversation, stuff like that. That's my opinion. I think a lot of that is much ado about nothing. If you shave off 5 or 6 minutes of a game, I mean, so what? Now, I can understand the networks. We ask for another minute between innings and stuff like that so we can pay the bills. I mean, that's also part of the fabric of the country. But, I mean, if it goes 5 or 6, 7 more minutes, big deal.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. And fouled out of play by Cervelli, who is up at the plate for the first time this season. Posada is taking care of the catching duties up to this point. He'll catch tomorrow for A.J. Burnett. It's also, and John Moore, our director, points out in my ear, and it's a good point, the Yankees and the Red Sox are 2 of the better clubs in baseball at working counts and working pitches and taking pitches and getting the. There you go. The Yankees last season faced the most pitches in baseball. They're very patient. The Red Sox pride themselves on that as well. That's a part of it. 1 on, 1 out. The 0-2 pitch down and away. In my opinion, though, the only real way to speed up play is to have the home plate umpire call more strikes. I think the strike zone, personally speaking, is too small. And it's not a Wally Bell thing. It's, in my opinion, a Major League Baseball thing, and it would take an adjustment period. But if pitchers knew they had more leeway and hitters expected to have strikes called, they'd go up there ready to swing the bat more than wait for the perfect pitch, as that one's inside and the count's 2-2 on Cervelli. We've seen 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, and Davis has had to throw 43 pitches through 2 1/3 innings. They work over a starting pitcher and get into a bullpen, especially the long and setup relief, and that's where the Yankees and the good teams can go to work. That's inside. Throw down is too late, and the catcher Shopik.
That could be interference.
Yeah, he had to throw over the top of Cervelli, and it's a stolen base for Gardner.
Well, you can understand if Cervelli swings at this pitch, but when you ridiculously, in my judgment, watch Cervelli. He's hanging out over the plate. I mean, that does not allow Shopik a clear path to throw the runner out. Not only that, Shopik may have hurt his right hand in throwing the ball and hitting Cervelli on the helmet. I mean, if he swings and misses and ends up in that position, you can understand it. But by taking the pitch and leaning over the plate, I think you could make a case 50-50 that he could have been called out for interference.
No call by Wally Bell. A stolen base for Gardner. And what was an 0-2 count is now a full count on Cervelli. Another foul. And what doesn't help the situation is Cervelli is wearing one of those concussion-proof helmets, which is 7 times the size of a normal helmet.
Yeah.
It's like Kazoo from the Flintstones. That thing is gigantic. I'd wear one too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not how you look, it's how you feel if you get hit.
That thing's got climate control inside of it.
Going outer space in that thing.
3-2 pitch is down and away, and Cervelli takes a walk, and it's 2 on with 1 out.
Now, excuse me, Joe. Now I was going to say now there are a lot of things that the Yankees could do. I mean, with one out, it's a good time to steal third base. You've got a contact hitter up there. Derek Jeter wouldn't mind taking a pitch or two and giving Gardner a shot.
Gardner, the lead runner with very good speed. Cervelli would not be in the category of slow. He's at first base. And it's 2 on with 1 out for Derek Jeter. Grounded out his first time up, and he's jammed. Grounds one to short. Out at second. Nicely turned. A 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. A hit, a walk, and a double play mixed in. And after 2.5 at Tropicana Field, Yankees and Rays, no score. No score into the bottom of the 3rd inning, and for the Rays, it'll be the bottom 3 in their lineup. So far, so good for Sabathia. No base runners. And Pat Burrell pops it up right side, and finding it against that ceiling is Teixeira. 1 out here in the 3rd inning, and it's our chat with number 28, the manager of the New York Yankees, Joe Girardi. And the first question was about what he was seeing so far from Sabathia. Well, the first question would be about your pitcher, CC Sabathia. What do you see from the dugout?
So far, so good. These guys are making him work, and he's thrown, 35, 37 pitches in the first 2 innings, but he's throwing quality strikes, and he's getting outs, and that's what we need.
Joe, you have got to tell the story of your babysitter when you were a child becoming the advisor of Curtis Granderson. A great story.
Yeah, it's a small world. I got a call after we traded for Curtis Granderson, and Debbie Emser, the Emser family, lived next door to us in East Peoria, Illinois. Told me she was the advisor at the school, the high school that he was in Chicago, and she was a longtime babysitter for our family. And then her son actually went to the University of Illinois Chicago, where Curtis went to school as well, and Curtis knows her son as well.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Brian Cashman has signed her as an advanced scout for the Yankee organization?
No, there's no truth to that.
Okay.
But just a wonderful family who live next door.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That is Joe Girardi, who wears number 28 after wearing 27 last year. Here's a ground ball to third, picked up by Rodriguez, and his throw across. Rodriguez has been busy. 2 out. We go down to Ken Rosenthal, who has more. Kenny.
Yeah, Joe, I talked to Curtis Granderson about that connection, and he said it was weird. Right after the trade, he's eating in Chicago, his hometown, in Little Italy, and he noticed on the wall there's a photo of Joe Girardi in his Cubs uniform, and he asked, did Girardi eat there? And the answer was, yes, he did.
And to go one step beyond that, Granderson, when he was traded, and he was first alerted to that, the sentence started, I believe, you've been traded. I think what flashed through his mind was getting traded to his hometown of Chicago, maybe playing for the Cubs. Instead, he goes to the Yankees. As the number 9 hitter, Gabe Kapler, takes a strike from Sabathia. He's one of the real wonderful guys in baseball, is Curtis Granderson.
Classy guy, he is.
And he will add a lot, gets this team a little bit younger as they go forward. And he was even asked by Girardi, his new manager, if he'd be willing to go to left field. They didn't do it. Gardner's in left. Granderson's playing center, and Sabathia is rolling here in St. Pete. 4th inning on a Saturday. No score. Beautiful day outside. Inside Tropicana Field, we are into the 4th inning with a 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Wade Davis. And that means Nick Johnson, Mark Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez. Good pitching on display here on this Saturday, and there's a strike to Nick Johnson, who struck out looking on a pitch over the inside corner his first time up. Got an email from Michael Simmons, who talked about the point we had about the Yankees and Red Sox being very selective at the plate. That has been the case with the Yankees against Wade Davis so far. And Michael says that he's an NL guy, and he watches the Yankees and Red Sox because every pitch does seem so important, and he wishes his hometown Astros, his favorite team, would slow down their at bats, fight off more pitches, and put more pressure on the opposing hurler, which is a good point. We thank Michael for sending that in. With 2 out, rather with nobody on or out, it is Johnson hitting one straight up behind the plate. Tough play for Shopik. And he makes the catch, 1 out.
You may remember how that third inning ended for the Yankees. Gardner was on at second base. He had a fake break off second. Well, he's talking now with Rob Thompson and now with Joe Girardi. And here's what happened. Jeter's the batter with 1 out, runners on at first and second. And there's movement behind the pitcher. You think of a choreography of trying to hit with too much movement. You don't fake break off a second base. You can off a first, but not off a second. Because a lot of times on a close pitch, a hitter, even a seasoned hitter like Jeter, will swing at it. He swung at a bad pitch and grounded into a double play, and that's what they're talking to him about.
With 1 out, nobody on, here's Teixeira, who lined out his first time up, and it's an 0 for 17 start. Doesn't matter what the bank account says or the back of a baseball card says as to how good Mark Teixeira is, and he is one of the best that this game has to offer. He is dying to get hit number 1 and stop seeing all zeros up on the scoreboard when he steps in. 2-1 pitch from Wade Davis. Down the left field line, slicing into the corner. It's a foul ball. And Crawford, who was playing Teixeira to pull a bit, couldn't get there in time. It's 2-2. Teixeira with 245 RBIs over the last 2 seasons, which is 3rd best across baseball. Who's number 1? That name may surprise you, may not. Ryan Howard of the Philadelphia Phillies with Albert Pujols number 2, and the count's full on Teixeira. Now the next from Davis, and it's upstairs, a 1-out walk, and that's the 2nd walk handed out by Davis this afternoon. Take a look at some of the upcoming games for the MLB on Fox. April 24th, the Yankees at the Angels. May 1st, Mets at Phillies. And then May 8th, the Yankees at the Red Sox. Braves at Phillies. I wonder if Joe West will be umpiring the Yankees at the Red Sox on May the 8th. I'm going to guess no.
Got to love the Atlanta Braves this year, too. At young right fielder, they have Jason Hayward. What a mark he has already made on the game.
Here is Rodriguez. Hits one straight up into the air on the infield for the second baseman, Zobrist, and that's out number 2. We also have this year, the MLB on Fox, 2 primetime games on Saturday evenings, which will come up as we make our way through the spring and summer. With 1 on, 2 out, the batter will be Robinson Cano, who struck out his first time. Cano is 6 for 17 to start the year. Had a good series up at Fenway. Runner at first is Teixeira, who drew a 1-out walk. With 2 out, Cano takes just high ball 1. One of our night games coming up this season, the Yankees at the Dodgers. Also have Yankees Mets. Phillies Sox. Here's a line drive foul outside third. That Yankees Dodgers game is on June 26th. Red Sox Phillies May 22nd. That's the same night as the Yankees and the Mets. So that'll be fun, and we'll see the response that we get, baseball gets, for a Saturday night game on network television. 1 on, 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Wade Davis, Robinson Cano, and that ball is ripped into right. Back at the wall, home run Cano. And a 2-0 Yankee lead here in the 4th. new number 5 hitter for the Yankees, has started out very well here in 2010.
When Robinson Cano struck out his first time up on a high fastball, he was really upset. Bound and determined not to have that happen again. He doesn't. And the Yankees take the lead.
A 2-run lead for Sabathia as that one exited in section 146. Well, the base is empty, 2 out. Nick Swisher, who struck out his first time, steps in. Good pitch inside corner, strike 1. Saw the reaction from Cano. And there's a reaction from Wade Davis. That's foul.
I don't think Wade was second guessing himself on pitch selection, but perhaps location. And the pitch was inside. And pitchers do that all the time. And the guys who usually hear about it more than anybody else are the catchers.
Here's an 0-2 pitch from Wade Davis. Up and in to Nick Swisher.
Location on the hands and inside. Right to the target.
Swisher last year hit .249 in his first year with the Yankees, popped 29 home runs and drove home 82. Big production out of the bottom of the lineup, and that's called a ball to even the count 2-2. Pretty good pitch, and it looked like Shopik was about ready to head back to the dugout, but Wally Bell said ball 2. A walk and a homer in the inning. And with 2 out, a 2-2 pitch is way outside, full count. Granderson on deck. And a 3-2 pitch is fouled back. Swisher 5 out of 15 to start this season. Struggled last year during the postseason. Back against the Phillies was 2 out of 15. And the Yankees won the World Series. He waits for another 3-2. And it's a 2-out walk. Second walk of the inning. Third of the game for Davis, and with Granderson coming up, we look at some of the key additions for New York they made during the offseason. Curtis Granderson, Nick Johnson back in the organization. Same can be said for Javier Vasquez. Johnny Damon is gone. He's in Detroit. Hideki Matsui, the MVP of the World Series, is with the Angels, and Melky Cabrera was part of a package that was traded to Atlanta to get Javier Vasquez. Visit from Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, after the second walk of the inning, and I think he has a parting shot for Wally Bell on that 1-2 pitch. It was called ball 2 instead of strike 3 in the Swisher at bat. 68 pitches trying to get through the fourth. Not as good second time through the lineup to this point for Wade Davis. Couple of walks and a home run, and now Granderson, who singled his first time, an infield hit, takes a strike. Swisher on at first, and Granderson comes up empty, strike 2.
Not a bad time for Swisher to try to run. The Yankees have the lead. You take more chances with the lead. 0-2 to Granderson. If you're thrown out, he leads off the next inning.
Not running, and an 0-2 pitch sails up and away.
kind of a Spider-Man lead that Swisher has at first base. That left arm behind him, the right arm in front.
One ball, two strikes. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Here's a line drive caught by Zobrist. Why Spider-Man?
Well, because that's how he goes up buildings. Come on, get with it.
Cano just rode one up and out of this building, or at least over the fence, and it's 2-0 Yankees after 3.5. It's 2-0 New York, a lead for CC Sabathia thanks to a ringing home run off the bat of Robinson Cano. A line drive type that just shot out of here into right in the top of this 4th inning. Top of the order for the Rays. They do not have a base runner. And Sabathia has been in charge. He has struck out 2, a lot of ground ball outs. Bartlett a fly out. Now he grounds one to Rodriguez to his left. One away. Joe Madden in his 5th year as manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and the first question was about the good start that his team is off to here in 2010.
We've talked a lot about that in spring training this year. We thought it was very important that we did get off to a good start. We had a great spring. The big thing about that is our guys came into camp very focused, ready to go, and they carried it through that and now into the regular season.
It seems like you have a lot of moving pieces on this team, meaning you can play guys all over the place. Zobrist is the prime example, but he's not alone on your roster.
Right, you got Sean Rodriguez on our roster right now. Could do a lot of the same things that Zoe does. We have Reed Brignac moving around. Willie can move around. We have guys all over the place, but it really helps us in regards to matching up against lefties and righties, and I have a lot of confidence in all these guys, and then furthermore behind the plate with Shopik and Navarro.
How would you categorize the start for Wade Davis to this point?
Pretty good. I mean, obviously the home run's no fun, but overall I thought he's done a pretty good job. His pitch count's up a little bit. Couple 0-2 to 4-2 walks kind of hurt him to Cervelli and then there to Swisher, but overall not bad.
If you wanted to change the style of your eyeglasses, could you at this point, or are you contractually bound to wear those?
Not contractually bound. I'm wide open for one of those, though.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Hugo Boss? Who
if Hugo wants to give me a call, I'll give you my phone number right after we get off the air right here.
Hugo's a big fan of Fox Saturday Baseball, I know. Thanks, Joe.
See you, buddy. Thanks.
Joe Madden in his 5th season took his team to the World Series 2 years ago. What a turnaround it was from the 2007 campaign. And Zobrist, who was a piece of that team, certainly just flourished last year, playing right and second and all over the place, is at the plate. And the count's 0-2 as Sabathia is trying to go perfect through 4 innings.
Helping his own cause with that play he made off the bat of Carl Crawford. Taking a page out of Cliff Lee's book during the World Series last year.
2 out, nobody on, and that's up and away. John Longo sent us an email that said, please let Tim know that he's a huge comic book nerd, and he knows for a fact that Spider-Man has never donned that pose that Nick Swisher just had over at first, and yes, he knows that. Just relaying, don't look at me like that. I'm just relaying information. Down in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's your play by Sabathia. Big guy, CC, 6'7", 290.
A very, very good fielder and athlete, as you could tell. John Longo.
John Longo's on your case.
Where does John live?
I don't know. It was sent by his phone, so he could be anywhere. Here's a changeup, and down goes Zobrist. A good pitch from Sabathia. Strikeout number 3. So, John Longo, you're on the McCarver list. He's not happy with you after 4, 2-0. It's a 2-0 Yankee lead into the 5th inning, and first up is Brett Gardner with Cervelli to follow, and then Derek Jeter against Wade Davis, and there's a fastball for a strike. Gardner grounded out his first time up. A force out. He's 0 for 1. Reached base, stole a base. Was stranded. There's strike 2. So far, perfect for Sabathia, who has struck out 3. And only one ball has left the infield.
That was a fly ball by Jason Bartlett to lead off the game for the Rays.
Here's a nice piece of hitting by Gardner as he sticks the bat out and pokes it through the left side. And Gardner is 1 for 2 and now 4 for 11 to start the year. Chevy and Scotts are building diamonds and dreams. See how the kids could win a ballpark makeover, and you could win a new Chevy at ChevyBaseball.com.
Might see a straight bunt right here from Cervelli with Jeter and Johnson coming up.
Minnesota beats the White Sox 2-1. Twins are in a new ballpark this season. Got rave reviews when they played exhibition games against St. Louis. Good bunt by Cervelli. Great play by Longoria. 1 out, and down to second is Gardner.
I don't think Longoria was anticipating a bunt, playing a little deeper, even with the bag. And a very good bunt by Cervelli, barehanded by Evan, and he makes the play. The thing, they bunt so few times in the American League that a lot of times third basemen playing percentages have to stay back. Can't cheat like they do in the National League.
Jeter now has an RBI chance. It's a little more speed in this Yankee lineup than in years past.
Gardner presents that.
And yeah,
Granderson.
It was just a bunt, but they can move along the base paths a little better than they have, and Gardner gets a chance to go from second to the plate. No chance for Upton, and another run for New York. It's 3-0 here in the 5th. RBI for Jeter, his second of the season.
Talk about the home run ball, but this is really the worst pitch of the game by Davis. A hanging breaking ball. Not all balls that are up are hangers, but this one is. We've said it many, many times. Catchers don't catch those.
The bat of Jeter did, and he drove it into center for an RBI. He's under 250 hits away from 3,000 in his career, and Nick Johnson will be the hitter. He's 0 for 2. 2 out of 16 to begin the season. He is back in a Yankee uniform. First came to the big leagues with New York, and he takes a strike. Third round pick by the Yankees in '96, which was Joe Torre's first year. Derek Jeter's Rookie of the Year season. Came up in 2001, and Nick Johnson was traded to Montreal. An interesting trade. Some of the players involved. Here's a pitch in the dirt, a ball and a strike. No action at the moment for the Rays in their bullpen. When the Yankees traded Nick Johnson to Montreal, the Yankees got Javier Vasquez for Nick Johnson. And the other players involved, Juan Rivera, who plays with the Angels, and Randy Choate, who's part of the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen.
Only left-hander in their bullpen.
While they wait for J.P. Howell to get healthy, coming back from a fatigued left shoulder. 1-1 pitch, instead a check on Jeter.
J.P. Howell is the key of the early season for the Tampa Bay Rays. Very, very important man if he can come back early.
One ball, one strike, 1 on, 1 out. Another run on the board for the Yankees here in the 5th. And reaching for it as Johnson pops it into left. Easy for Crawford, 2 out, and we go for a DirecTV game break. And hear from Chris Rose.
Joe, Tim was talking about Spider-Man. How about Wonder Twins powers activate? Shape of a home run for Jason Kubel. His first of the year, a 2-run shot gave the Twins a 2-1 lead in the 7th. They take it to the 9th where their new closer, John Roush, gives it up deep to Alex Rios, but not deep enough. Twins have won 5 straight after losing the opener. 2-1 your final. The only way to watch every MLB game in HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV. Joe?
All right, Chris. Thank you very much. 1 on, 2 out. The Wonder Twins always shape themselves into the oddest combination, but somehow they could fight crime. Pitch down and away for a ball to Mark Teixeira. Runner at first is Jeter, 2 out. By the way, John Longo, he's in New York and on his iPhone and laughing that his email was read on the air. That's a pitch up and away, 2-0. And now I imagine you have a fan for life in John Longo. Tim.
Yes.
And there it is.
It is Spider-Man position by Nick Swisher.
1 on, 2 out, 2 balls, no strikes.
Propelling up a high ball.
There's the first hit of the year for Teixeira as he knocks it into the right field corner. Jeter all the way around, and they're going to bring it. Relay from Zobrist. Got a shot, safe, 4-0 New York.
It's the hardest play for a catcher to make on a tag at home because you can't see where the runner is. You have to face the right fielder, and the throw is an in-between hop from Zobrist. One thing you can do on this turf here is give a true throw to your catcher, but this pitch, or this relay, was an in-between hop. Shopping can't hang on, and the Yankees lead it 4-0. Kelly did all he could. Again, you don't know where that runner is, and that's a very, very difficult play for a catcher trying to ward off the runner and block home plate at the same time.
Now Rodriguez, an RBI chance for Alex. He's 1 for 2. 2 RBIs this season. Still looking for his first home run. And fastball's down and away, ball 1. Runner at second is Teixeira. That was, as I mentioned, his first hit of the year, and he made it count. An RBI double, a rocket into the corner, and Sabathia, like he can't wait to get back out there. Jacket on, still sweating. He'll deal with Longoria, Upton, and Ibar. 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Rays in their half of this 5th. There's a strike, a ball, and a strike to Rodriguez. The other New York team got Jose Reyes back today. First game since last May the 20th. We look at 2 players tied for 8th on the all-time list. Rodriguez trying to move 1 spot in front of McGuire, jammed. It's a fair ball. Long throw for Longoria, and that ends the inning. But 2 more runs for New York. They got 2 in the 4th. They get 2 in the 5th. RBIs by Jeter and Teixeira. 4-0 Yankees in the 5th.
That's
Beautiful day outside, and inside it's been fantastic for CC Sabathia. Our Verizon game summary. Cano, a 2-run shot in the 4th. Jeter, part of a 2-run rally in the 5th, and Sabathia has been perfect through 4. And that means that the cleanup hitter will start at Longoria here in the 5th, and Evan takes a strike on a fastball from Sabathia. Longoria, then Upton, and Willie Ibar. And that very calm demeanor of Evan Longoria at the plate. Very quiet and still. And he watches one sink down and away, a ball and a strike.
Talked about that lethal quickness of Longoria inside. His counterpart, Alex Rodriguez of the Yankees, does not have quickness inside.
Fooled by Sabathia, an 86-mile-an-hour tailing changeup. Strike 2.
Good changeup. Longoria way out in front. Alex Rodriguez, if you really want to simplify the difference between the two, Rodriguez likes the ball away. Longoria likes the ball inside.
So where Sabathia goes with a 1-2 count inside, up and in, and it's 2-2.
And this week, an example of that. Evan Longoria, Joe, you talked about his home run off Kevin Millwood in the opener. And Alex Rodriguez last night out over the plate, driving in the first 2 Yankee runs, a game the Yankees lost.
Here's a 2-2. That's at his back foot. Check swing didn't go. Full count.
I think he'll go back outside with the changeup. He's thrown 2 pitches inside, one a fastball, the breaking ball, as you said, the back foot slider.
Longoria came awfully close to swinging at that pitch. The bat coming around. No swing, said Laz Diaz, and now a 3-2 delivery is hit hard and foul down the left field line.
You can challenge guys with a 4-0 lead. He challenged Longoria, but again, that's an example of how quick he can be on balls on the inside part of the plate.
Longoria leading off in the 5th. Another 3-2 from Sabathia is down and away, and the Rays have their first base runner of the day. A leadoff walk. Sabathia was critical of his performance on Sunday night at Fenway Park when he was knocked out in the 6th inning. He lost his control, and by his own admission, he said he tried to nibble a little too much. That hasn't been the case so far here today, but he issues a leadoff walk, and now will pitch to B.J. Upton.
I talked to Dave Allen, the Yankee pitching coach, about that. He said CC tried to muscle up the 3rd time through the Red Sox order in that 6th inning. And I asked Dave, I said, you know, with a guy like CC, he weighs 280 pounds. I mean, there are very few people, very few pitchers in the history of the game who know what it feels to muscle up on a fastball. But if a guy can muscle up on a fastball, it's a guy as big as CC Sabathia. Got to be a little tougher than it would be a guy who weighs 190 pounds, say.
Here's a 1-0 to Upton. Good swing, but fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Ken Rosenthal, what you get with CC Sabathia as you look at strike 1 on Upton is a guy who will eat a lot of innings, and he is one of the few real workhorses in this game.
That's right, Joe. People keep wondering when he's going to wear down, but really, it's time that we recognize him as one of the leading workhorses of this generation, if not that guy.
That's up and away. Cervelli can't get a handle on it. And a stolen base for Longoria. His first.
Longoria guesses and guesses right.
So while you look at a replay of the stolen base, here's a 2-1 pitch to Upton, and that's off the end of the bat into center. Granderson sets up the throw. Longoria draws the throw. And that's out number 1. Kenny, we were talking about Sabathia and him being a workhorse. I know you have stats to back that up.
Here it is, Joe. Including the postseason, in each of the last 3 years, CC has thrown at least 256 innings. 256. Now, the last pitcher to do that, to exceed those totals over 3 straight years, Greg Maddux from 1991 to 93, almost 20 years ago.
And physically, the two guys couldn't be any more different. I mean, Greg Maddux is in the category of a guy who's slight, not really put together, not big at all. And Sabathia is just a mountain of a man out there on the mound and uses everything he's got. In his 2nd year in a Yankee uniform, and the first pitch was a ball up and away to Ibar. Grounded out his first time. Runner at 2nd, 1 out. Strike 1. Ibar getting the start today at first. In place of Carlos Pena, who's had one of the more interesting careers. And is one of 2 key free agents to be on this Tampa Bay roster. The other one being Carl Crawford. Here's a 1-1. On the inside corner, strike 2. 95 from Sabathia. Ibar went deep last night, waits for a 1-2 pitch here. And spins at ball 2 inside. No appeal down to first.
Earlier we saw Longoria almost swing at that back leg slider. That's what pitchers refer to that. And now Ibar almost swings. Body went, but the bat didn't.
And so the count's 2-2. And reaching for it, Yankees had Ibar played perfectly. Cano handles it 2 out. The batter will be Pat Burrell. MLB and People magazine are looking for individuals who make a difference in their community. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com. Here comes Burrell, who is being looked at here by the fan base as somebody who so far has not lived up to the advanced billing. He was a run producer with the Phillies previous 4 seasons prior to last year. It averaged 31 home runs, 99 RBIs. Last year hit just 221 and popped 14 home runs. Had a slow spring this year, and he's 1 for 10 to start the season. Hank Blaylock accepted a minor league assignment. Longtime Texas Ranger and a guy who can slug. He's down there if the Rays want to go get him. And Matt Joyce is an outfielder who is rehabilitating an arm injury, and when he is ready, some decisions are going to have to be made on this roster. As Burrow was fooled on a Sabathia changeup, it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it's a peculiar type of pressure on a designated hitter. There's pressure on all professional athletes, of course. But a designated hitter, you're not a good runner. You're not a fielder. Otherwise, you'd play the other side of the ball. And you can imagine. I mean, if you don't hit, that's it.
Long-time left fielder with the Phillies.
Yeah, if you're a regular player, Joe, I mean, if you're a guy like B.J. Upton and you're not hitting, you can steal a base. You can make a good defensive play. Longoria the same at third base, a Gold Glover. But if you're a designated hitter and you fail in that category, that's the only category on which you have to fall back.
Here's a 1-2. And high heat, back-to-back 96 miles an hour from Sabathia. Burrell could not catch up. Burrell hitless on the day. Tampa Bay scoreless and hitless, 4-0 New York. Cano has homered in this game. He's 1 for 2. Struck out, was frustrated, did something about it his next time up. 2-run shot in the 4th. Followed by Swisher and Granderson. Wade Davis still out there, and there's strike 1. His homer looked a lot like this. Here's one into left center field. Pretty well hit. Crawford to his left in front of the track. 1 out. Take a look at the Yankees in-game box score. It's brought to you by Toyota. And you see the production on the right. 2-run home run by Cano. RBI single for Jeter. A run scored. He scored on an RBI double by Teixeira. We're in the 6th inning. 4-0 New York. And so far, Sabathia is in total control. Here's a strike to Nick Swisher. Get an email from Patrick Blakesley. Said last night it seemed Madden left Price in the game a little longer than he should have. Had a pretty high pitch count. At the beginning of the 6th, Davis is already at 86 pitches with the Rays down 4-0. As it seemed like he's keeping the starters in too long. And as we say that, we look down the right field line and action starts. Looks like Balfour getting ready for the Rays in their bullpen. There's a fine line between wearing guys out and trying to stretch them out and get some tread on their tires here early in the season.
Yeah, my answer to that would be, don't be indoctrinated in that pitch count nonsense. The idea is to win the game. Not only did the Rays win the game, but Price won the game. Don't be cornered in that pitch count. I mean, you've got even fans emailing about pitch counts now.
Here's Swisher popping it up. Will it stay in play? Looks like it. Longoria has to try and find it. He does. 2 out. We ask you to hurry in to get your free Scott's MLB fan guide, available exclusively at Lowe's. Well, pitch count is something that I think the one pitcher that jumps to mind when you think about the game over the last, I don't know, 12 or 15 years would be either Mark Pryor with the Chicago Cubs, maybe Kerry Wood. You talk about some of the young guys and the pitch count that they racked up. Dusty Baker was not afraid to leave Kerry Wood in early on in his career, and I'm not saying he was wrong or right or whatever, but once he broke down, and it's been a career filled with injuries for Kerry Wood, who starts this season on the disabled list, the Cleveland Indians, you started hearing more and more and more about pitch count, especially with young pitchers.
But he may have broken down throwing fewer pitches. There has never been any proof that throwing more pitches is an indicator that a pitcher is going to have arm problems, whether he's young or old.
2 balls and a strike. Wade Davis, the 24-year-old, brings it up and away.
I think if you have medical proof that after a certain amount of pitches an arm starts deteriorating, then that's fine. But until then, it's pure conjecture.
There's a 2-out walk to Curtis Granderson. That's the 4th walk issued by Wade Davis. I want Ken Rosenthal to weigh in on this. Ken, what do you have down there?
Well, Joe, teams take this issue very seriously now. You see the Yankees, the way they've handled Jabba. You see the Red Sox and the attention that they pay to pitch counts and innings that are thrown by minor leaguers and major leaguers. While there might not be exact data, there certainly is enough for teams to think that, hey, we've got to slow down, bring these guys along slowly, or we're going to lose them.
Yeah, common sense would dictate that.
Jabba Chamberlain is another topic as they meet on the mound. Jim Hickey is out to talk. You and I talked about this 2 years ago.
Yep.
With the idea of bringing Chamberlain out of the bullpen, putting him in the starting rotation. Last year, there were stretches where he was good, but for the most part, overall, it was a failed experiment with Jabba Chamberlain as a starter. If he had success there, he would still be there. He is where he belongs right now.
There's no question about it. We talked about it last year during the playoffs. Some of the Yankee officials were upset, but the Jabba rules were the wrong rules.
There goes Granderson. A chance for Shopik. Safe. And a stolen base for Granderson. That's his second as a Yankee. So a walk and a stolen base, and that's what the Yankees can do a little more of with a guy like Granderson, and now he's in scoring position, 2 out.
You try to take advantage of a 4-run lead, and Curtis with a good jump from first base steals it rather easily. You can see Jason Bartlett put that left foot in front of the bag. That's not a good policy.
With 2 out, Gardner takes a strike over the inside corner, and it's 0-2.
You can straddle the bag or take the ball in front of the bag. If you put your foot in front of the bag, that's where a guy's sliding. That could be a very serious injury.
Nothing in 2 is the count on Gardner. Runner at second, 2 out. And a foul as Davis is trying to get through the 6th. We may get to a point in this game where Jabba Chamberlain comes in. We may not. But it certainly looked like, as compared to Sunday night's effort in the opener at Fenway Park, and then what he did after the day off pitching Tuesday night. I personally thought he looked like the old Jabba Chamberlain.
Yeah, I did too.
And the old Jabba Chamberlain at times was unhittable. That's in the dirt. The ball 1. Blocked by Shopik with a runner at second. Granderson 2 out. We remind you that coming up at 7 Eastern tonight, the Subway Fresh Fit 600 from Phoenix, 4 p.m. Pacific. NASCAR on Fox after baseball. 2 hours from right now. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Wade Davis. 91 from the right-hander. Was a third-round draft pick in 2004. Gardner has a hit in this game. Reached back in the 3rd inning, stole a base. So far is 4 for 11 to begin the season. With Melky Cabrera out of the mix, this is a season where Gardner could get his biggest exposure in the outfield for the Yankees. 1-2. 2-2. Four walks issued by Davis. He has struck out 3, none since the second. It's been a different story after that first trip through the lineup for the Rays right-hander. 2-2 pitch. Base hit left field. Here comes Granderson. Crawford's throw to the plate is in time for the out. Blocking the plate, Shopik, and the tag is made after the collision at home.
What a play by Kelly Shopik.
Wally Bell waited. Granderson came in standing up.
Great play.
And never did touch the plate. Here's the tag, end of the inning. 4-0 Yankees into the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th inning, still no hits for Tampa Bay. 4-0 Yankees. And first up is Kelly Shopik. Buck Martinez, longtime Major League catcher, ducked into our booth during the break, and Buck Martinez, former catcher, and Tim McCarver, former catcher, were grinning ear to ear at the work of Kelly Shopik, the guy at the plate for what he did blocking the plate. Now he hits one in the air to left for Gardner, and that is out number 1. Here's how, in real time, the top of this 6th inning came to a close.
So many catchers are using that slap tag now. You don't see that blocking the plate. To notice how he gave Granderson the plate, and then when Curtis went to slide for it, he took it away from him. That is textbook blocking the plate by Kelly Shopik. That's why Buck and I were grinning from ear to ear.
And a nice addition to this Tampa Bay team, picking him up from Cleveland. With 1 out, nobody on, here's Gabe Kapler. And a breaking ball is down and in. Kapler grounded out to third his first time up. 0 for 2 on the young season. Sabathia looking for his first win. The 1-0 is weakly popped over to right. It's fouling out of play. A ball and a strike.
Tell you, only 6 games being played this week, but I've got to tell you, when I saw that Mark Burley play the other day, opening day, White Sox, the kick save through the legs, I thought of Gabe Kapler. And the reason for that is Kapler was the hitter that hit the ball that Dwayne Wise made the defensive play in Burley's perfect game last July 23rd. And a president's call after the game. I mean, just so many things that keep coming back from that perfect game. I mean, that play by Burley this week was extraordinary.
And Burley, in case you're wondering, as we're watching this unfold here on a Saturday, on the 10th of April, Burley's perfect game is the last no-hitter. Came against Tampa Bay on July 23rd. Last season, the game Tim just referenced, and there's a little pop-up right side. That's Cano, and a quiet second out here in the 6th. With 2 out, nobody on, we give you the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. Just as CC Sabathia gives the Yankees the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. 76 pitches. He's gone 5 2/3. He has struck out 4, walked 1. And with a guy who is listed at 6'7", 290, pitch count is even less of an issue, early season or not. Here is a ball off the hands of Bartlett, strike 1. Jason 0 for 2. Tampa Bay Rays, former Devil Rays, are in their 13th season. Got to the World Series 2 seasons ago. Last year scored a new franchise record for runs scored. Finished 3rd in the AL East, and we came on the air talking about the Tampa Bay Rays, the Boston Red Sox, and the New York Yankees not just being the 3 best teams in the AL East, but maybe being the 3 best teams in Major League Baseball.
You can make a strong case for that.
Phillies would have something to say about it, no doubt. Cardinals off to a good start.
Cardinals are good.
Here's an 0-2. Just missed. Ball 1. A couple of the Yankees players started to head for the dugout with this pitch. I would have gone too. 2 out, nobody on, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Bartlett stays alive.
One thing you don't want, for Wally Bell's sake, you don't want that to be the difference between a 1-hitter and a no-hitter. That called, everybody thought it was a strike, and it was called low, I guess.
Base is empty, 2 out, 1-2 pitch is high. And that's what happens during the course of the game, or if it's going to be a special game. Who knows what that borderline pitch Sabathia doesn't get can lead to. Here's the 2-2. Skips in, full count. Crawford on deck. The next from Sabathia. Right side, diving catch by Teixeira to keep the no-hitter alive. A Gold Glover over there, and he gets a glove high five from his pitcher, Sabathia. What a catch by Teixeira into the 7th, 4-0 New York. Back after this from your local Fox station. We welcome you back to Major League Baseball on Fox, presented by Lowe's. Good game here in St. Pete. So far, no hits for the Tampa Bay Rays. We're in the 7th, and here's a fly ball into left. Off the bat of Cervelli and into the glove of Crawford, who will lead off for the Rays in the bottom of this inning.
I'll tell you, if CC Sabathia does pitch a no-hitter, he will turn around and look at that play by Mark Teixeira. Teixeira plays first base almost like he's a left-handed fielding first baseman. He's that quick going across his body. I mean, some of the plays he made in games that we did last year at Yankee Stadium, extraordinary plays. And if anybody ever deserved a Gold Glove, it was he.
See the hard-throwing right-handed Grant Balfour taking over. Got the first out on the first pitch to Cervelli. Fires a strike to Derek Jeter, and this is game number 2 for Balfour. That's down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a fly ball into right, dropping in a hurry, and Kapler makes a diving catch for out number 2. Two out, nobody on, and we've seen some defense here. This is Kapler.
Boy, that is terrific. That ball tailing away from Gabe. We talked about him being the hitter in the Mark Burley perfect game last July 23rd. Boy, that's some play right there, and nobody appreciates it more than Balfour.
Here is a strike. Batter is Nick Johnson, who's 0 for 3. He struck out, fouled out, fly to left. 2 hits. The early season, good tailing fastball. Strike 2. Get an email from Chris Driscoll, who says, stop talking about what Sabathia may or may not be pitching. That's how superstitious Chris Driscoll is. Won't even type it in an email.
Yeah.
Well, you and I have talked about that before. We'll just let it sit. 2 out, nobody on. A 1-ball, 2-strike count on Nick Johnson. And a foul back here.
Talk about what's in a name. Grant Balfour, the pitcher for the Rays right now. I mean, for years, Balfour made the World Series rings, and the Yankees get their World Series rings in their opener on Tuesday against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. World Series ring number 27.
Fitting that the Angels are there because Matsui will be in attendance.
Yeah, that's a nice thought.
He'll get his ring. And he was the MVP of that World Series, was just brilliant in the clinching Game 6.
Johnny Damon will probably have his mailed to him. That is often the case. Some guys, if they have an off day, they'll come to the city where they played the World Series in.
Here's another foul backing out of play. Still 2-2 on Nick Johnson.
Hideki Matsui, enormously popular in New York. What a
He was just as classy, Tim, in his exit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
He didn't. He wasn't upset. Didn't say anything. Parting shots on his way out. The Yankees chose to go another way, and he signed a $6.5 million deal with the Angels. And he's healthy enough that he's playing some outfield instead of just DHing.
You know, when you think about it, the way Hideki Matsui handled himself is like Fred Couples' walk.
Yeah, I think. Yes.
Well, now think about Fred Couples' walk. I mean, how many men in this country the other day? Those looked like Fred's shoes that he had on the other day.
Yeah.
The first round leader in the Masters, and what an elegant walk the man has.
He's got a strut. Very confident.
Yep.
Not nervous. Is the Masters going on this weekend?
I don't know.
We got action here in St. Pete. 4-0 New York. Time to stretch. Lowe's is sponsored by Michelin, a better way forward, by Toyota, and by Sharp Aquos Quatron Quad Pixel Technology. You have to see it to see it. There's a combination, Sabathia Cervelli. Bottom of the 7th inning. Tough part of the order for Sabathia. It starts with Crawford, the number 2 man. It was 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a ground out. Took a good play from Sabathia. Been a couple good plays turned in, not just to Share at first on that diving catch and the ball hit by Bartlett last inning. Sabathia on a ball up the middle. A-Rod with a good play to his right at third base. 1 ball, 1 strike on Crawford. Zobrist, Longoria, the next 2 hitters. And that's strike 2. 93 miles per hour from Sabathia.
All things considered equal, that is the best pitch from a left-handed pitcher to a left-handed batter. To time up and in. Can't stay there, but going there occasionally opens up other areas of the plate. Another one.
And not getting the call. Crawford lays off 96. That's as hard as he's thrown. He's hit that a couple of times previously. But still throwing hard here in the 7th. The 2-2. Breaking ball is in the dirt. Full count. The 3-2 pitch from Sabathia is down and away, a leadoff walk. Sabathia, who has had one stolen base behind him with Longoria in the 5th inning, now has to deal with his speed, although with the luxury of a 4-0 lead. Not really worried about Carl Crawford, but you know Crawford, when he gets a chance, the guy who stole 60 last year, he will try and take it back.
Yeah, when you're trailing by 4, you just have to make more sure when you try to steal. Do not want to run yourself out of an inning trailing by 4 runs.
Especially with the bats coming up. Sabathia gives him a look. Crawford started last season 30 for 30 stealing bases. Had a 6 stolen base game May 3rd. Here's a chopper to Sabathia, throws to second, wide and safe, and now out on the tag. So they get the out. As Cano kept the glove down, it's a fielder's choice, and then the out on the putout. Still no hits.
That's one of the more understandable base running blunders. And the reason for that is Crawford is intent on taking the second baseman out of the play. You're not really concerned with oversliding second because that's where the second baseman may be. So he slides too far and the tag is made and the Yankees get a break.
It's a fielder's choice, no hit, and it's 1-on-1 out with Zobrist aboard and Longoria at the plate. The bigger picture for the Tampa Bay Rays is here was an opportunity with 2 on potentially, and Longoria at the plate down by 4 in the 7th inning, but Crawford went too far.
See, in a slide like that, what you're doing is you're going through the bag and not to the bag, because by going through the bag, that's where the second baseman may be. And unfortunately for the Rays, that's exactly where the second baseman was, off the bag.
Longoria has walked and grounded out. How about high heat 95 from Sabathia for strike 2. A leadoff walk. The fielder's choice, and now an 0-2 count on Longoria, reaching for it and stays alive. Our Toyota in-game box score for the Rays, all zeros, 2 walks. That's it. The man at the plate, the biggest threat in this lineup, came in hitting .375 the first week of the season. 33 home runs, 113 RBIs last year. Waits for an 0-2. And takes high. Action for the Rays in their bullpen is Choate. The left-hander cranks it up. Former Yankee. Here is a 1-2. Again, Longoria spoils it.
Yeah, I think CC with a 4-run lead using a slide step not a good time to use a slide step. The chances of Zobrist running at first base remote. Again, the lead dictates whether a guy's going to run or not. No sense in a slide step here.
And now a throw over. One ball, two strikes, 1 on, 1 out. 4-0 New York in the 7th. And that's strike 3 on a breaking ball. Longoria's rung up. Strikeout number 5 on a borderline pitch, 2 out.
Breaking ball gets the corner.
So now 2 out. And the batter is Upton.
We talked about earlier, Joe, about how CC Sabathia could be emotionless. I'll tell you one guy who's not emotionless right now, Francisco Cervelli. First game of the year that he's caught, and has caught 6 2/3 of no-hit ball. And Joe Girardi telling us how energetic and enthusiastic and ebullient he is before the game.
First pitch is high to Upton. One on, 2 out, and a foul tip caught by Cervelli, a 1-1. Chan-Ho Park is getting loose out in the bullpen. Pitch count has seemed to be relatively low to this point. Sabathia was over 100 in his first start. That's high heat, 95. Chan-Ho Park nonetheless getting loose. He is at 99 pitches, Sabathia. So here's pitch number 100 with 2 out in the 7th. There goes the runner. Pitch is high. Throw down is late. So is Cano getting over to the bag. 2-2 to the hitter. And a stolen base for Zobrist. His first. So there it is, 100 pitches, and it's April 10th.
Yeah, and the only way he's coming out of the game is if he gives up a hit.
Upton digs his way back in. Two-two pitch is inside, full count. And Sabathia, you can just see his body language. Disappointed he didn't get that pitch.
We saw it on the pitch to Jason Bartlett the last inning.
Runner at second, 2 out. 3-2 pitch to B.J. Upton. Hit hard and diving stop by Rodriguez. His throw is good.
Wow.
And we go to the 8th inning. What a play by Alex Rodriguez.
And Teixeira.
On both ends to keep Tampa Bay with a 0 on the scoreboard in the hit column. To get a guy with Upton's speed, Rodriguez had to be perfect. Showed off the arm, and then Teixeira dug it out on the other end. We go to the 8th inning on a Saturday. Could be a fun end to this one. 4-0, New York. 4-0, the Yankees lead. Still no hits for the Rays. 7 for the Yankees. And Randy Choate slings it home, the left-hander. Deal with Teixeira, who's made a diving catch on a line drive and then dug out that last throw on a sensational play by Rodriguez to end the 7th. Teixeira, Rodriguez, and Cano. And Teixeira, who got his first hit in the 5th, gets his second hit leading off the 8th.
Just thinking about it, if Teixeira drops that ball, you almost have to give Upton a base hit because of the difficulty of the play that Rodriguez made.
Yeah, it goes right into the hands of the official scorer. And it would have drawn a reaction either way.
Yeah, right.
Either base hit or error. As it is, the play was made by the 2 guys to start this inning, and Rodriguez takes a strike. Alex has a hit, been caught stealing, popped up, grounded out, 1 for 3. He didn't like the call. Leadoff man is on. Yankees trying to win their 3rd game of the season. There's another base hit. Back-to-back singles by Teixeira and Rodriguez. And Randy Choate has been greeted with 2 sharp singles to start the 8th. The 2010 edition of the MLB on Fox Tune In to Win game kicks off on Saturday, April 24th. You make picks for the game you watch. You check online results throughout the game and stay tuned for the 7th inning bonus question. Finish in the top 3 and see your name on air at the end of the game. To register, you visit right now foxsports.com/tune in. And the game Tune In to Win kicks off on April 24th. Now let's go Yankees cheer is heard from this crowd. Around 50,000 here at Tropicana Field. With 2 on, Cano fouls it left side. Dave Island on the right, the pitching coach for the Yankees. He's just sitting and watching like the rest of us.
This franchise, the Tampa Bay franchise, started in 1997. Its 13th year. And in 1998, the minor league pitcher of the year for Tampa Bay was Dave Island, the pitching coach for the New York Yankees here 13 years later.
Reaching for it and fouling it is Cano. It's 1-2. Cano is homered. There's a chance to help the Yankees try and blow this thing open as a right-hander starts to get ready. Looks like Wheeler down the right field line for the Rays in their pen. Tap foul. Yankees this season celebrate the fact that Jorge Posada, Mariano Rivera, and Derek Jeter become the first trio to play 16 consecutive seasons together.
In this day and age.
It's remarkable. And they talk about the core 4. The 4th member of that group is Andy Pettitte, who spent 3 years in Houston. Jeter is 35. Mariano Rivera is 40. Posada's in between them. First in baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL history to accomplish that. That's a line drive caught by Longoria. Cano is out number 1. On April 21st, Idle Gives Back returns with scheduled appearances by Alicia Keys, Carrie Underwood, the Black Eyed Peas, and many more. This weekend in Tampa Bay, the Rays and Fox 13 have teamed up in support of Idle Gives Back. Be a part of Idle Gives Back in your hometown. Log on to idlegivesback.com and join or start a team today. Idle Gives Back is April 21st, only on Fox. Here is Swisher. 2 on, 1 out. Sabathia on the other side is through the heart of this Tampa Bay lineup. He will have Ibar, Burrell, and Shopik, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. In this 8th inning, here's a base hit into center. Here comes Teixeira. He's held late at third, and back to the bag he goes, bases loaded.
And the reason that third base coach Robbie Thompson would hold a runner late, a guy who's not a fast runner, is he has to see what develops in the outfield. As an example, if the center fielder, B.J. Upton, bobbles the ball, then he sends Teixeira. But because he knows there's not going to be a play behind Teixeira, he can bring him around the bag like this.
And then Rob Thompson goes over to explain to Teixeira. The bases are loaded. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, is out to talk. 1 out, and Granderson will be the hitter. So Granderson has to try and get a lefty here. In the 8th inning with the sacks jammed, and Curtis in this game is 1 for 2 with a hit, a line out, a walk, a stolen base. Was thrown out at the plate on a good effort by Kelly Shopik. And a good throw from Carl Crawford. And there are the numbers for Granderson with the bases loaded in his career. Breaking ball is low. Ball 1. All of the action so far for Granderson has been against the right-hander Wade Davis. Granderson trying to prove he can hit lefties. Just 183 against him last year with Detroit. And a line drive into left field. Everybody will move up 1 spot. It's 5-0 New York as Granderson gets a base hit to left.
The Bombers can single too. 4 singles in this inning. And the carousel continues.
One thing that Kevin Long, the Yankee hitting coach, did, and this was after the Yankees made the deal to get Granderson, was spend some time with him during the offseason, watched video with Granderson of his at-bats with the Tigers, and first of all wanted him to move closer to the plate for better coverage. He comes through here against Choate. As Brett Gardner steps in, just 2 for 7 in his career with the sacks jam. Bases loaded, 1 out, 5-0 Yankees here in the 8th. That is outside. Wally Bell, the home plate umpire, flinched, didn't call it, and Gardner spun around to say that's ball 2, right? And it was.
Yeah, it looked like he came up with his right arm, or wanted to come up with his right arm, but he probably said ball 2 at the same time.
Choate has faced 5 and given up 4 singles. That's strike 1.
I think I might play the infield in right now because you're down by 5. You can't give up another run, and you're not going to double Brett Gardner.
Ibar's in at first. Longoria just backed up some at third, and the middle infielders about halfway. Here's a 2-1. Strike two. Choate relied upon right now to be the only left-handed presence in the Rays bullpen. J.P. Howell hopes to come back mid-May. Here's a 2-2 to Brett Gardner. Not close. Full count. Rays bullpen is anchored by a new closer, Rafael Soriano. The Rays got in a deal with the Atlanta Braves. Saved 27 in 31 chances with Bobby Cox's team last year. So he is the anchor down there, and so far it has been anything but routine, but he's done the job. That's a foul ball and over the back of Alex Rodriguez.
That's why when you lead off at third base, you try to lead off in foul territory. If the ball hits you and you're in fair territory, of course, you're out. Interesting pose.
Straddling the third baseline, a little exhale from Rodriguez, and a full count on Gardner. Chop to the shortstop. Bartlett out at second. No chance to turn two, and a run scores.
And that's why you play the infield in.
And it's 6-0 Yankees here in the eighth. It's a force out, 6-4 and an RBI. Second RBI this season for Gardner.
See, if the infield's in, then your play is home. You come home, stop the run, but no way to double Gardner, and the Yankees score another.
I mean, he's not even in the picture.
No, he's gone. He can fly.
So now first and third, 2 out, and the batter is the number 9 man, Cervelli. Ball one. Cervelli is making his mark in this game by receiving CC Sabathia.
Only his 46th game in the major leagues. Catching.
There's a strike. Runners at the corners, 2 out, and a 1-1 pitch. Two and one. NASCAR on Fox is coming up after baseball at 7 o'clock Eastern. We're in Phoenix, where Mark Martin tries to defend his title and take home the checkered flag for the 2nd straight year. Subway Fresh Fit 600 coming up at 7 Eastern. Here's a pop fly into right center. Back on the run is Kapler. Will not get it. 2 runs will score. It's 8-0 Yankees on a 2-out, 2-run double by Cervelli.
Understandably, Cervelli with not a lot of power the other way. Gad Kapler's playing in shallow. And you can't really say he got burned there. I mean, you know, that's just one of those situations where playing shallow costs you. Normally, that is not the case. And an energetic, enthusiastic Cervelli is at second.
And he knocks out Randy Choate. 8-0 Yankees here in the 8th. Derek Jeter now the hitter. as Wheeler misses outside ball one. This is the 8th man to bat in the inning. 8 in the 8th for the Yankees. Jeter has a hit, an RBI, run scored. 5 hits in this inning, and the capper against Choate was the 2-out 2-run double by Cervelli. Here's a ground ball right side. Picked up and played by Zobrist, and that will send us into the bottom of the 8th inning. Sabathia has been sitting for 17 minutes. He has yet to give up a hit. Back to work. Ibar will start it off for the Rays. It's time by Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew. CC Sabathia goes back to the hill. Ibar, Burrell, and Shopik had to sit for 17 minutes while his teammates got him 4 more runs. It's 8-0 Yankees, bottom of the 8th inning, and still no hits for Tampa Bay. Ibar is grounded out twice, once to third, once to second. There have been a few very good defensive plays in this game by the Yankees, one by the Rays. It's a big reason why Sabathia has yet to give up a hit. A-Rod's made 2 over at third. That's off his pitching hand to Cano. 1 out.
Talk about destiny.
Off the pitching hand. He appears to be fine, and Cano is there to pick it up and get Ibar. 1-4-3 is how you score it.
Guy like Cano can make a play like that because he's got a shortstop's arm. Terrific play, again, defensively by the Yankees.
For those of you watching the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers, you dip into this game in the bottom of the 8th, and Sabathia has yet to give up a hit. Here's the last out to start the 8th inning. Off his pitching hand to the second baseman, Cano, for the out. Here's how it looked.
I guarantee you that didn't hurt. Not in this game.
His heart is pumping right now. And with 1 out, nobody on, the batter is Burrell, who struck out and popped up. That's inside. Those of you watching St. Louis and Milwaukee, we understand you're going to stay with us through the conclusion of this if the no-hitter is intact. Burrell to be followed by Shopik. A hush falls over this crowd as ball 2 misses outside. This is officially the longest Sabathia's gone in a big league game without allowing a hit. Previous high had been 7 full in 2002 with Cleveland, April 7th against Detroit. There's strike 2. Randall Simon broke it up, first hitter in the 8th. Ibar almost broke it up, first hitter in the 8th here today, but Sabathia, all 6'7", 290 pounds, big enough to get a hand on it. Cano did the rest. Here's a 2-2. Popped up. Shallow right center. Granderson comes on and takes it for out number 2. Here are today's Lexus Hybrids game-changing plays to keep this no-hit bid alive. Teixeira with a diving catch to his right. Alex Rodriguez has made a couple of big plays. There's a tag at second for an out. The best play of the game was Rodriguez with a diving stop. And all of that has added up to 7 2/3 innings. No hits for Tampa Bay. Here's Shopik, grounded out and flied out. And a changeup fools him, strike 1. Two walks. only hiccups by Sabathia. Here's a line drive, and there's the first hit. Shopik gets it, breaks it up here in the bottom of the 8th. And that's going to be it for Sabathia. Within 4 outs. Gives up a hit to Shopik. Sabathia's day is finished. Now just looking for his first win.
Getting a bar.
It's a 111 pitch effort by Sabathia. He gives up his first hit in the bottom of the 8th with 2 out. It's his former teammate Kelly Shopik. 2 were together with the Cleveland Indians, who gets him. And it's a balk by David Robertson. Down to second goes Shopik, and here is the reaction after the hit by Shopik. Fell in front of the left fielder Gardner.
Reaction or lack of reaction?
Robertson misses up and in with a ball to Kapler. Here's the reaction by Cervelli, the young catcher. Talked about the pressure I'm sure he was feeling as Sabathia made his way through this game.
Thing about it is, from a catcher's standpoint, you're the only one facing the scoreboard. You could see that one come down under the hit column.
The reaction by the fans and his teammates in the dugout. And they had some joke with Dave Island, his pitching coach. He has that capability with his stuff every time he takes the ball. There's a strike from Robertson, 2-1. Meanwhile, his manager, Joe Girardi, has been involved in 4 no-hitters in his career. He caught 2 of them in a Yankee uniform. Dwight Gooden back in May of '96. David Cohn's perfect game in July of '99. A teammate for David Wells in his perfect game in May of '98. And he was a manager with the Florida Marlins. He was manager of the year. Anibal Sanchez threw a no-hitter. And he watched his left-hander Sabathia get into the bottom of the 8th with 2 out before Shopik got him. 3-1 now is the count on Kapler. The next from Robertson. Full count. Kapler has grounded out, popped up. Yankees are expecting big things out of David Robertson. They're missing one big piece from their World Series push last year. Phil Hughes will get the start on Thursday. Still a full count.
Joe, that game you mentioned that Joe Girardi caught, the David Cohn perfect game. I was working for the Yankees at the time I did that game with Susan Wallman, who's in the booth right next to us, working the game with John Sterling. There was the last out, caught in foul territory by Scott Brocious. Bobby Mercer, great Yankee and just a terrific guy. And Susan and I did that game. Talk about a thrill. Wow.
Here is a pop-up down the left field line. Gardner's there, inning over. For the record, did you mention no-hitter during the broadcast?
We were talking about it in the 4th inning. Are you kidding?
But he still did it.
He still did it.
You didn't jinx it.
Dispels the myth.
After 8-zip New York.
Okay, maybe.
2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Yankees. New pitcher is Mike Ekstrom. 8-0 New York, top of the 9th inning, and on their way to a 3-2 start. It'll be the same for Tampa Bay, barring a miraculous comeback. Nick Johnson's looking for his first hit, and he is the only member of this lineup for the Yankees to not have a hit. Jabba Chamberlain is getting loose for the Yankees in their bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike on Johnson. Here's a 1-1. High 2-1. I want to hear you say again for the record, because we've opened up this whole email Pandora's box with MLBJoe@Fox.com, and it's been fun. I'm glad we're doing it, but looking at the emails, baseball fans, Yankee fans are pleading with us to stop talking about the no-hitter because we're somehow jinxing it. But when David Cone did that to the Montreal Expos,
talked about it in the 4th inning. Susan and I talked about it. Bobby Mercer and I talked about it. We talked freely about it. There's Susan. But I mean, you know, the whole thing is just ridiculous to think that announcers have anything to do with what's going on the field.
Now that's where I disagree with you.
Oh, you do.
Here's a pitch that misses, ball 3, 3-2.
So much superstition in baseball. I mean, even guys in the dugout, they don't talk to the pitcher, except in David Wells' perfect game, when David Cone, who was to pitch a perfect game 14 months later, was the guy who was agitating him throughout the whole thing. David Wells pitched his against Minnesota in May of 1998. And then Cone was to do it 14 months later.
Yeah,
that in itself is remarkable.
I'll give you that, but David Wells is in his own category.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, really, and so is Coney. Coney's got that bizarre sense of humor, too. But the whole thing is just, it's years of this tradition. You don't know how it got started, but it's foolish.
Here's Teixeira hitting one well into left. Back is Crawford at the wall, and that is no catch. And back to first is Teixeira. He got hung up because Nick Johnson didn't run, and Teixeira's tagged out.
And Nick Johnson didn't run because he thought the ball was caught.
All of a sudden, Teixeira, who was going around first, looked up, and there's Nick Johnson sitting there at second base.
2 of the slower runners on the Yankee team, but you can see it hits off the wall, corralled by Crawford. Teixeira's going to second, saying, Nick, the ball hit the wall, and I'm out.
Tried to get back to the first base bag, but could not.
See, what a runner does at first base, you go as far as the outfielder gets closer to the fence, you get closer to second base. That's why, and then if the ball does hit the wall, you're in a position to go to third. But by going halfway or being too timid toward first base, you're going to mess that play up.
Here's a foul ball that catches a piece of Rodriguez.
In fact, you and I saw Aaron Rowan in the 2005 World Series in Chicago. Not a play like that, but in a wind-blown fly ball to left field. End up at second base after the ball was dropped in left field. If you're the runner at first base, again, you've got to get closer to the bag as the outfielder gets closer to the fence.
It's a base hit for Teixeira. He came into this game 0 for 16, went 0 for 17 as he lined out his first time up, and now he's 3 for his last 3. The putout went 7-4-3-4, which is left, second, first, back to the second baseman for the tag. Subway Fresh Fit 600's coming up from Phoenix right after this action at 7 o'clock. There is strike 2 on Rodriguez.
What a game.
It's had a lot in it, and Rodriguez has made 2 very good defensive plays, and his efforts really the only reason why we were talking about a potential no-hitter into the 8th. That's ball 2.
Not a bad way to kick off the 2010 season. Huh?
No, our 15th season together, and wind up in some city. The end of the World Series. As that pitch runs up in, is the end of the World Series in November again this year?
I think so, yes.
sometime in November.
Yeah, November 4th.
That's game 7.
That would be game 7 if, of course, one is played.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Rodriguez. Runner at second, 1 out. And a walk to put 2 on for Cano. Well, we couldn't guarantee CC Sabathia would get a no-hitter today. It turns out Kelly Shopik is the one who broke it up in the bottom of the 8th. Did you know Valvoline, however, will guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles? Valvoline, the first and only motor oil in the industry to guarantee your engine up to 300,000 miles. They hope to bring you Fox Saturday Baseball. And there is the welcome back into the dugout for Sabathia, who's on his way to his first win of the season. He won 19 last year. Here's Cano. Ramiro Pena has taken over and is doing the running at first. And it's 2 on with 1 out. Cano has a home run. He's 1 for 4. That floats down and away. A ball and a strike. Interesting that the Yankees decided to go away from Jose Molina and not bring him back. They wanted to get younger there. That pitch misses barely. Ball 2 to Cano. So it's Cervelli, and he should get a lot of action behind the plate this year with Jorge Posada. Not getting any younger, but boy, he has started out the season very well, and he didn't show any signs of slowing down last year. Here's a 2-1 that misses. Ball 3, 3-1.
Well, for tonight, for Cervelli, it's Dear Diary. I almost caught a no-hitter today and high-fived Alex Rodriguez when he came out of the game.
Two on with 1 out, 3 balls and a strike. Cano. Line drive, base hit into center field. Nick Johnson is coming to the plate. The throw by Upton is not in time, and it's 9-0 New York. Cano gets his 3rd RBI of the game. And now Randy Wynn, who entered the game in the last half inning for Swisher, gets his first at bat of the afternoon or early evening.
Never know how things are going to play out as far as a player's career is concerned, but I think within the next 5 years, Robinson Cano will win a batting title in the American League.
Well, he should be entering the prime of his career right now.
Yeah.
Dangerous foul ball into the seats off the bat of Randy Wynn, who's a new piece of the puzzle for the Yankees here in 2010. He can run, he's got pop, he can drive the ball into the gaps, pick up infield hits. Oh, 1 pitch. That's in the dirt. Shopik doesn't know where it is, and the runners advance to second and third. Be a wild pitch by Ekstrom. One ball, 1 strike. We look ahead to next week in Fox Saturday Baseball. We'll see the Mets and the Cardinals get together, the Giants and the Dodgers.
Giants, the only undefeated team in baseball.
Came from behind last night. Renteria with big swing of the bat.
How about his start?
Great start for Renteria and the San Francisco Giants. Cardinals, Mets, Giants, Dodgers, White Sox, Indians. Presented by Lowe's, Fox Saturday Baseball returns next week, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Out into shallow left. Bartlett is there. The runners will hold 2 out. You, sir, will watch the matchup between the Mets and the Cardinals. And we will go back to our 4 o'clock Eastern start time. And David Wright had a home run in the Mets opener after hitting just 10 home runs last year in spacious Citi Field and on the road.
Albert Pujols, speaking of home runs, had 2 for the Cardinals against the Cincinnati Reds. What an extraordinary hitter Albert Pujols is.
And a free agent to be at the end of next year, which is like a hurricane gathering out in the ocean for Cardinal ownership in the front office, wondering what direction that's going to head.
Back up the truck.
Granderson fouls it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hurricane Albert will either re-sign with St. Louis or become the most sought-after free agent. I don't know, maybe ever.
Maybe. Thus far, I guess Alex Rodriguez was.
Yeah. A 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Runners on at second and third, 2 out. 2 balls and a strike on Granderson. Now 3-1. Rays in the bottom of the 9th will have the top of their lineup. Bullpen is quiet now for the Yankees. Jabba Chamberlain was up earlier. Ekstrom, his first inning of work after Wheeler went a third, loads the bases. With a run already home. 3 walks in this 9th inning for Ekstrom. And Granderson is on base for the 4th time in this game.
Just to give you an idea of how difficult it is when a catcher is traded. Before the game, I asked Kelly Shopik, I said, Kelly, I haven't seen Mike Ekstrom. What does he throw? Kelly said, well, I haven't seen him that much either. You know, it was a very funny remark, but it gives you an idea of how difficult it is to make the transition from a catcher on one team to a catcher on another, because you don't know the pitchers, particularly the young pitchers coming up. So I didn't find out anything. So I don't know what to say. So I have no scouting report because Kelly couldn't give me a scouting report.
Ekstrom, the scouting report or the wish will be throw more strikes.
Yeah.
After this, and now he's 2-0 on Gardner. Bullpen is certainly a question mark for the Rays. I think when you look at this team for 2010, that's the one area where I would imagine Joe Maddon's a little bit uneasy, especially because J.P. Howell's not available. There's a good tailing fastball for a strike. But Soriano's not a guarantee at the back end of the bullpen.
Dan Wheeler's solid.
Wheeler's solid. I've always liked the stuff at Balfour. He pitched in this game, 1 perfect inning. 2-1 pitch is down and in, 3-1. Yankees will see at least 175 pitches in this game. This is pitch number 175 coming right here, and it's a strike, full count. Runners will go, bases loaded. Pena, Cano, and Granderson tiptoeing away. This is as much speed as the Yankees have with Gardner at the plate. 3-2 pitch. And another walk. 4 walks in the inning. Forces home another run. And that is frustration down in that dugout as Cervelli, the number 9 hitter, will step in. Pena scores. He was running for Alex Rodriguez. Getting high fives for going station to station.
Yeah, and Joe Madden is playing for tomorrow right now. I mean, there's no way to drain your bullpen, and unfortunately for Mike Ekstrom, he's got to stay out there and suck it up.
8th guy to bat in the inning. It's Cervelli, and ball 1 low. We were going to congratulate Don Zimmer on the air here today and maybe chat with him from down in the seats. We got a chance to see him before the game in his 62nd year in professional baseball. Here is his baseball history. First player to ever wear a New York Mets uniform. Was a coach on the 75 champion Red Sox, American League champion, managed in 78. 4-time World Series champion as the Yankees bench coach for Joe Torre. He's going into the Red Sox Hall of Fame later on in the year. We had a microphone on him and an earpiece, and he left.
He left.
And so if you see Don, tell him we need the microphone back. I mean, we want to congratulate him for going into the Red Sox Hall of Fame and all. That's fantastic, but bring the microphone back. There's no unlimited budget at Fox.
No.
Times are tough, and those things can't be cheap. Okay, he left it in the clubhouse, but for a while there were people scurrying back in L.A. Here's a ground ball to second. Zobrist makes the play. Yankees get 2 in the 9th. The microphone is back where it belongs, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. 10-0, Yankees lead. Off in the bottom of the 8th. It's 10-0. The Yankees lead. Ramiro Pena stays in the game at third base, takes over for Alex Rodriguez, who had a terrific game here today, as much with the glove as he did with the bat. And Reed Brignac, a young middle infielder who the Tampa Bay Rays really like and had a great spring training, is going to pinch hit for Bartlett. Watch this kid during batting practice, and he can pound the baseball.
Joe Madden saying all of his throws also are right around the shoulders to the first baseman.
It was predominantly a shortstop in the minor leagues. You can see the rip he takes. Won the Al Lopez Award for the top rookie during spring training. Hit .359, 18 RBIs. Came up initially with the Rays in 08, 3 times last year, trying to stick. The problem for Joe Madden is trying to get him enough at bats and trying to stay with that momentum he carries out of spring training, and the same for the guy on deck, Sean Rodriguez. Here's an 0-2, and Robertson fooled him. A strikeout starts the bottom of the 9th, 1 away, and we send it to our good friend Chris Myers.
Getting ready for the start of the race in the heat of the desert. After baseball, leave it on Fox 7 Eastern 4 Pacific. Jimmy Johnson, the points leaders, won 4 of the last 5 races here, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a good car coming in, starting 5th. We hope you join us for NASCAR on Fox a little bit later in Phoenix.
Chris looks good, looks rested.
Yes, he does.
Desert's been kind to him.
Yes, it has.
Here's a ball to Sean Rodriguez. 51 home runs the last 2 years at AAA, and a guy who came to this organization in the Kazmir trade from the Angels. So here's another piece of the puzzle. Should get a lot of action at second base, and when the Rays are facing a right-hander, he'll place him second, and Zobrist will go out to right. Today against the lefty, Zobrist played second, and Kapler got the start in right. That's in the dirt, 2-1.
Talk about pieces of the puzzle. Pieces of the puzzle in his family. His father, Johnny Rodriguez, is the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals minor league team, the Tri-Cities. I think it's Moline, Davenport, and Rock Island in Illinois. So he grew up around baseball. His dad's been a manager and a coach throughout his young career. He was taught well.
He can hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a check swing did not go. Full count. Well, you wonder the future of this organization with a couple of the decisions they have to make with Carl Crawford and with Carlos Pena, two pending free agents. Talked about having to reduce the payroll, hoping for a new facility. At some point, there's strike three over the inside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Trying to find more ways to generate revenue through the stadium. I think they've done the best they can with this facility, which predates the Rays.
And I believe the contract for which they have to play in this facility will last until 2027.
That's right. So at some point they're going to have to get even younger, and when you look at guys like Brignac and Rodriguez, they figure to play a part. Here is Ben Zobrist, 2 out, nobody on. Robertson throws hard, that misses low. 2-0. Zobrist has struck out twice, reached on a fielder's choice, stole a base. Sabathia was in total charge here today. That's ball 3. The producer of today's game, Pete Macheska. The director is John Moore. Steve Horn is our editorial consultant. The associate director, Kathy Hunt. The broadcast associate is Eric Mandia. His first game with us. Good job, Eric, down in the truck. Here's a 3-0 pitch. There's a strike. Technical producer is Dave Hill. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie. The highlights coordinator is Janice Kazaza. Technical supervisor Jack Simmons, and the senior producer of Fox Sports, Bill Brown. Executive producers David Hill, Ed Gorin. Line drive into right. It's off the base of the wall. Zobrist has his first hit. Trying to stretch it into a double, and he's safe. Every time you mention Ed Gorin, David Hill, a double happens in a Major League Baseball game, and Zobrist doesn't disappoint.
Amazing how that works. Hitting the base of the wall, and when Ben rounded first base, I would think he had second thoughts about going to second. When you're trailing by 10 runs, and this throw is almost on the money. And Randy Wynn, the right fielder, made a good throw. Bit of a short hop to Derek Jeter, but it would have been close had Jeter come up with it. I don't think I have ever seen a game end with the score 10-0 on a hitter trying to stretch a single into a double.
Here's Deanna Navarro, who is hitting for Longoria. Good fastball from Robertson, 0-2. That will be your Dear Diary moment. I never thought it would happen, but today it did. Runner at second, 2 out, 0-2 pitch is fouled back. Longoria, while he was in there, 0 for 2 with a walk. Navarro 3 for 8 to start the season. Upton on deck. The Let's Go Yankees cheer is trying to get drowned out by booing from the Rays fans. 0-2. Navarro waits on it, grounds it to third. Pena picks it up, throws it across, and that's it. Yankees win it 10-0 on a Saturday afternoon and evening in St. Pete. Handshakes in the dugout for New York. 10-0 the final. Both teams are 3-2. Back after this. CC Sabathia is the winner, his first of the season. 19-game winner a year ago. 10-0 was the final. He carried a no-hitter through 7 2/3 innings here today. Don't miss the Subway Fresh Fit 600 from Phoenix, Arizona, starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific the next Saturday. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Lowe's, returns at 4 Eastern with these matchups. Mets and Cardinals, Giants, Dodgers, White Sox, Indians next Saturday on Fox. Check local listings for the game in your area. The Promotional consideration provided by the following. For more information on today's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, log on to foxsports.com, powered by MSN, the world's favorite sports site. For Tim McCarver, Ken Rosenthal, and Chris Rose, and Joe Buck, so long from St. Pete, you've been watching Fox Sports, your home for the 2010 MLB All-Star Game. Yankees win 10-0.